Alright, let's dive into this story because it's a wild ride of egos, creativity, and the brutal realities of the music industry. Imagine this, 1985. Wham! Is at the peak of their fame, and someone decides it's a brilliant idea to send them to communist China. Not just for a concert, but to make a documentary. Sounds epic, right? But here's where it gets messy and fascinating. First, let me set the scene. Lindsay Anderson, a legendary filmmaker, is hired to direct this documentary. Personally, I think this was a bold move. Anderson wasn't just any director, he was known for his sharp, intellectual style. But here's the kicker, the managers, Jazz Summers and Simon Napier Bell, didn't fully brief George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley on the vision. They expected a fluffy, MTV-style travelogue, not Anderson's deep dive into cultural juxtaposition. What many people don't realize is that this miscommunication set the stage for disaster. Now, let's talk about why this matters. Anderson's film wasn't just about Wham! In China, it was about China on the brink of modernization. It was art. But the managers? They saw dollar signs. They wanted a quick cash grab, something to sell to fans. And when George and Andrew saw Anderson's rough cut, they were baffled. It wasn't the fun holiday video they'd been led to expect. In my opinion, this clash of expectations is where the real drama begins. What makes this really interesting is the timing. George Michael was already planning his exit from Wham! He wanted to go solo, and the managers knew their gravy train was ending. So, they needed a quick win. They engineered a situation where George and Andrew would dislike Anderson's film, giving them an excuse to fire him. It's like a soap opera, but with higher stakes and better haircuts. Here's where it gets personal for me. The producer, who was caught in the middle, had to choose between loyalty to Anderson or staying in the good books of Wham's management. He chose principles and resigned. I respect that, but it's also a reminder of how brutal the industry can be. One thing that immediately stands out is how rarely we hear about these behind-the-scenes power struggles, even though they shape the art we consume. Fast forward to today, and we have Wham! 10 Days in China, a new film using Anderson's footage. It's sanctioned by George Michael's estate, which is great, but it doesn't focus on the drama. Fair enough, it's a fan-friendly piece. But for me, the real story is in the conflict. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about a film, it's about artistic integrity versus commercial interests. A detail I find fascinating is how Anderson's film became an UN film, almost erased from history until now. This raises a deeper question. How often does art get sacrificed for profit? And what does that mean for the artists involved? George Michael, despite the chaos, went on to become a solo legend. Anderson, on the other hand, felt betrayed. What this really suggests is that the music industry, for all its glamour, is often a battleground where creativity and commerce collide. So, here's my closing thought. Next time you watch a documentary or a music video, think about the story behind it. Who made the compromises? Who held their ground? Because, personally, I think those are the stories that make art truly fascinating. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.